You are tuned into Strategic Behaviors, baby. Like I said, D double, White Side. Yeah, we in the building. So we about to get into the strategic behavior of the week. My homie White Side got a clip she about to play, and it's very, very interesting. I want you guys to tune in and listen to this.
I'm hurting y'all because I want to be loved. I want marriage. You know, a lot of us get on here, we act tough, and we be like, I don't want a man, I don't need a man, but I want help. I want to be loved. I want somebody to love me. I want somebody I can be vulnerable with. The problem is, and when I cry, y'all, because I'm saying I'm crying, y'all, because it's like a release right now. But the problem for me, y'all, is that all the relationships that I had with men were not about love. It was about survival for me. I know how to fuck. I know how to cook. I know how to clean. I know how to seduce a man. I do not know how to love a man. And then to have a son because of those choices that I was making, y'all. And I got pregnant really, really fast. I got pregnant within 90 days of knowing my baby daddy. And we don't talk about this shit because it's embarrassing and it hurts. It fucking hurts. And I'm mad with me. I'm not mad at men. I'm not mad at my life. I'm mad at me. Because I don't know how to fix me. I don't know how to fix it. That's accountability. That's the shit that hurts. Is realizing that, hey, I got some shit with me that I don't know how to fucking fix. And it's hurt because I don't know how to fix that shit. I'm fucking up other people around me.
That part right there, the end part right there, was a tough, like, for me, kind of sealed it for me. When, cause my favorite line, you know, hurt people. So, like,
Right.
when you know that you fucked up, and or you don't know, and then you realize it's like, then you look back and like, damn, how many people did I really hurt because I was hurt?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It make
That's
you think,
real.
You know what I'm saying? It make you think that. But the other point that she made in the beginning was, like, were we supposed to be taught? Like, do you feel like he was taught how to love somebody? Because I don't know, like, was it we supposed to be taught? Or do you feel like he was taught?
I mean, for me, and I may have said this on the show before, you know what I'm saying? I hate to break it down within racial lines, but I always see it from this perspective. Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of white people get married at a younger age, not only because for the most part they see a home with both parents in it, but they're also raised from the perspective of growing and the economic aspect of long-term love versus in the black community it's you strong, you don't need a man, you good, you do this, you do that. But then when you grow up and you start engaging with men and you start dealing with men and having sex and all this other stuff, you really don't know how to love. You know what I'm saying? And then the unfucked up, the not the fucked up part about it is men being men, we fucking over girls when we younger. We running through them and playing with their emotions and breaking them down. You know what I'm saying? And like some shit that I recently started looking at it's like the most beautiful women are the most hurt and insecure motherfuckers as life progressed because they whole life they've been told how beautiful they were, how pretty they were. But then they like, well damn, why don't nobody treat me the way that I've been told I should have been treated my whole life? But they keep going for dudes of a certain status, and it's like you think you special because you look good and you feel this way. But if he's this status, he could probably get 3 or 4 of you, and he's gonna get 3 or 4 of you. You know what I'm saying? And he's gonna hurt your feelings and you know what I mean, damage you in ways emotionally. Now you sitting here looking in the mirror, you trying to figure out, well, damn, what the fuck am I doing wrong? I know how to fuck, I know how to cook, I know how to keep the house in order and all this other stuff. But you so broke, you don't know how to love. You know what I'm saying? And you feel like I feel like people be thinking like love is. Well, I feel like love is an action word, but I don't know if it's the actions that people display.
I think it can be a verb, and I also think it can be a noun. Because we look up to it as it's this big thing and we put it on a pedestal too.
Right.
But you can also do something loving You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't mean, because
But the thing about it too,
it's two different things. I can do something loving without even having love in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Yeah.
not about, it's honestly
but I
like,
think
I'm
that
doing
I
something
think a
loving
lot of
without-
situations people do these loving things
Yeah.
with
Intention.
expectation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, if I'm dealing with you and your birthday come up and I just give you like a card and a flower, that's a loving thing, but is that enough? Are you going to be excited about that? Are you going to respect that and appreciate that? Or do you have this expectation of, that ain't nothing, what the fuck type, you know what I'm saying?
I think that comes from like one of my
And social media fucked it up too.
everything, the whole world, but I think
I'm going to touch on that in a minute.
one of the things I did learn was that when you say expectations is, I don't know if it's a race thing, but I definitely think it's a for me it's more of a female and a male thing. I feel like when I was growing up, I was told how to take care of a man, but not how to love a man. And then I had this expectation of, if I know this, then you know this. So that means I'm expecting you to understand things like I was raised traditional on how to raise a man, how to take care of a man. And back in those days, it was you do this, this, and this, and he gonna be able to do this, this, and this for you.
Man, the world is nowhere near like it used to be.
And I get that, but that's that fairy tale that was fed to us little girl. Like, look at all the fairy tales we look at and all the happy endings that you have.
It developed
So
expectations.
You just develop a natural expectation of, I assume that you understand that this is how this works.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. I mean, even touching on the clip, you know what I mean, that was just played, man, I can relate to this woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can truly, truly relate to this woman in ways that, hell, before I knew how to cook, clean, take care of a house, or even know how to treat a woman, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't realize how much it was embedded in me, the lesson that was taught to me as a child, which was simply, fuck bitches and fuck these bitches. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm sorry.
that's so real. Like, that was
That was like your little motto in your head?
No, that wasn't a motto in my head. That's something
what
that
you
my
saw.
uncle told me.
Oh, that's what you told
My
me.
uncle told me this
Oh,
when I was a
okay.
kid. Fuck these bitches and fuck these bitches. Like, you don't really have to be caring about them like that. You know what I'm saying? And then the other thing which was crazy is, you know, and it's wild looking back at it as a parent, you was looking at porn as a kid. And then you develop this social construct of what sex is, and then you see that sex isn't really anything where it's intimate, or that is anything that's passionate, or that is anything that's even caring. It's, we fucking. I'm gonna get this nut off, and I'm gonna keep it moving, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, when you transition into a young adult, where you still display these childish behaviors because a lot of women are mature faster in certain ways, or they come into adulthood with this fairy tale state of mind, and then you run into me, I'm gonna fuck it up. You know what I'm saying?
Are you fucking it up because of what you was taught?
No, I'm fucking it up. I'm fucking it up because I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I'm
But
saying?
I feel like,
And I was
nobody-
selfish as shit.
I feel like nobody knows what they're doing though. Like, I feel like I definitely relate to what she's saying, very much so. But I also understand, like, does anybody know what they're doing? Like,
Sometimes people do, man. I'm telling you, it's really on, I think, the social construct that you're shown and presented to throughout your upbringing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really, really feel like, you know, if I had saw or had some type of idea of what love was supposed to be, then my upbringing as I transitioned to adulthood would have been different. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta understand, like, I saw some of the worst shit in my childhood. You know what I'm saying? From domestic violence to all type of shit. You know, and the unfortunate shit is I also lived that in my adulthood. You know what I mean? Not saying that I was the one out here putting my hands on people, you know, but I was still involved in those situations. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't taught, don't put your hands on no girl. When I was a little kid, she hit you, you better hit her ass back. You know what I'm saying? But now as a father, I'm teaching my son, hey bro, if a girl hit you, you better not hit her. You better go get somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now I'm good. I got my sisters. They will fuck somebody up. But shout out to Deidre and Cara.
What's your baby?
Yeah, the person who never fought. You're third on the list, straight up.
I
You
ain't
know what I'm
gotta
saying?
have your
I
back.
might.
I ain't gotta fight him.
You're right. I'm gonna call you to negotiate, calm the situation down. That's what you there for. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, sign language and all that.
Whatever. I mean, I get what you're saying too, but I also feel like and me and my friends, I was talking about this other day, like, I feel like people, and I do get, like, you are you come out of your environment because you come out what you are because your environment you was around. I get that.
Right.
But it's also still like the other side of it is, but just because we saw it doesn't mean, because for me it was a fairy tale. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So now that I'm older and I see the other side of it, I'm like, so you was just painting this picture, but the reality of behind the scenes.
Yeah, but you had to unlearn that.
I'm still trying to unlearn.
That's what I'm saying. So,
But that
but
means
you got to
what I'm
understand.
saying is, that's what to me is, I'm hurting people because I'm trying to undo something that was drilled into me. So it's still like you feel like you hurt people. I'm still hurting people too on the other side because that's not reality. That's not real.
I mean, are you really hurting these niggas?
I mean, yeah, in some ways.
I mean, I'm talking like they may be upset because at this point in life you peep game and you ain't falling for they bullshit.
So you don't think it's the same person?
That's not hurt. That's these niggas realizing like, damn, I done let some shit slide when I had a good one. That ain't hurt. That's fucking guilt. That's regret.
I think okay.
That's regret.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, when I was hurting people, I was younger and I wasn't on no love shit though. I really wasn't on no love shit. It was just because I was young.
Yeah. But that's crazy because you said you came out with the idea of a fairy tale.
I came
but
out
you
with a
was
fairy
moving.
tale. No, when I came out, I'm talking about when it was time to like really look for a relationship. Now, the other half of it is, I am a mother's
Pirates.
child. No, I wasn't even in college, so that's the weird part. I didn't really like become like complete who I am until after I came out of college. Like I hit like a new chapter and I, learned some new things about myself. But I didn't really get into like being Ashley until I came out of college and came back home and came back to reality. Because for me, like college was awesome. It was also college, and we was in this like bubble of being in college, and shit wasn't real. Like real world was like you was getting buffered from the outside world. So it's like, you know what I'm saying, like I can really sit here and say like I can count on my hand, and I mean one hand, of the people that I actually fucked with when I was in college. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and none of them were actually in college. Like I can sit here and say I never fucked anybody when I was in college, that we was in college together.
Yeah, women be on shit like that.
I don't want to say there was women on shit like that. Like it just wasn't an opportunity to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like that I wasn't who I am now. You know what I'm saying? Like, won't nobody really like people play. You know what I'm saying? I kept him like, oh, you ain't serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, but one of them be like, so you trying to fuck? Like that was no opportunities. Won't nobody really in my face. Like,
Yeah. I mean, so just kind of sticking with, the lady who was talking about, not necessarily knowing how to love or, you know what I mean?
And the truth about it,
sorry.
It's all love. But, just her feeling like, I mean, that for one, that level of transparency is
Have you ever got to
amazing.
that part? Like, really? Because you look in the mirror a lot.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, I feel like I've been at that moment at multiple times in my life. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, this week for me was very emotional. You know what I'm saying? And I had those moments when I looked in the mirror or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like a couple of days ago, you know what I'm saying? Like I had a little baby anxiety attack because I had the moment when I was literally looking in the mirror and I was just thinking to myself, trying to figure out like what is really going on, you know what I'm saying? And like, what can I do to fix the things that are wrong, or if I can even fix the things that are wrong.
To ask a question like she said, like, I have some things that are not right, and fix it.
Yeah, yeah.
So the fear or
The frustration.
the frustration
The
of not
frustration
having a solution to it.
is very, very difficult.
I mean, I feel what she's feeling. Have I looked in the mirror? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm really, I'm emotional, but I'm more emotional when I'm by myself.
Yeah.
Or around certain people that I feel safe to be emotional around or vulnerable around. But I feel like I really get those reflection times more by myself.
Yeah.
But I feel like I be answering them in my head. Like I'ma say them, and then the positive side of me is gonna it be kicking in. I be answering my own questions.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's healthy for the most part, because you want to try to stay in as positive of a place as possible. You know what I mean? Because nobody want to walk around being depressed, unhappy, and none of that shit. And from it takes a lot. You're speaking to somebody who goes to that place. So to fight to come out of that place is very hard for me. But to speak on what you're talking about, where you say the happy side kick in, I feel like sometimes the happy side kicks in, but you're almost diluting your reality. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you're running from that problem. You know what I'm saying?
It's my defense mechanism kicking in.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So for me, when I'm in that dark space, sometimes I just be like, yo, I'm gonna go through it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go through it, and I'm gonna feel my feeling, because then I'm gonna come out on the other side in a much happier place than I would have been if my just happy side kicked in and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I ain't worried about it, and I'm gonna be alright. You know what I'm saying? So like literally, you know what I'm saying? Like I had to, and I don't know if I told you this, but I told the Junior about this. Put your hand on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Literally, hand here, and just take deep breaths. Take 10 deep breaths and let it all out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Grounding. And once you done, then come out and start speaking positive affirmations into your life. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's just something simple as, I can get through what I'm going through. You know what I'm saying? Because that's going to always be the case. Getting through what you're going through. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times when you get in that moment, like this woman in this situation right here, she doesn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, because she doesn't know. You know what I'm saying? And I had this conversation with Shane. I was frustrated because I'm like, bro, why don't I know how to do certain things at this point in my life? But in our reality, like she said too, we weren't taught it. You know what I'm saying? So we really got to figure this shit out.
And I don't place blame or parents stuff, because at the end of the day,
I used to, but I don't do it anymore.
I realize that this, I think it's like you said, with age comes maturity. I realize that they're human too, and just like if I was to have a child, I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm gonna do the best I can. I'm gonna do what I think is right, or what I was taught was right, or what I was taught. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a blaming of anything. It's just like you realize that it's false reality. I'm calling it false reality.
Yeah, I mean, even if you saying it's a false reality, at least you were presented with something. You know what I'm saying? And I'm only speaking for self, and it's not a knock on anybody who raised me. I wasn't really presented with anything that was hopeful. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell people, man, the most naive point in my adulthood is when I came up here and I was at Shaw, and I literally just walked downtown because I was so oblivious to the world that seeing the skyscrapers in Raleigh was like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? To the degree that, and this is so stupid, when 9/11 happened, I called my moms and I was like, Mom, they knocking down tall buildings. Should I be worried? Here we are, Twin Towers. 100 feet tall, 100 stories tall.
None of these live here in Raleigh. I tell you that right now.
100 stories tall.
Skyscraper is just now getting right.
You feel me?
Ain't no buildings.
I'm talking about, listen though, World Trade Center, 100 feet tall.
And you were serious.
I'm nervous in Shaw Dorm, and we 9 stories. 100 stories, 9 stories. I'm scared.
College, man?
Yes, but that just shows how naive I was. I graduated high school in 01. I was in Shaw in August of 01. I graduated high school in June of 01. Yes, I'm old. I look good though. But
I must have been in 8th grade because I remember being in computer class at Carnage, and my teacher, her son, lived in New York, so she just screamed. And we was like, okay, maybe so. I might have been 8th grade.
yeah, but yeah, that just shows how naive I was coming from where I was at. You know what I'm
Small
saying?
town kinda
So Raleigh was like, no, but it's just Raleigh now. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think we went from an opposite like perspective because I went from living and being in Raleigh, and then
Going to Greenville.
Going to Greenville, and it's like,
Yeah,
which I liked it. You know what I'm saying? Like I liked it, like. But I also had been going to Greenville, so it was also still like another home. Like,
yeah,
but I will say, just being down there, like it was not bad. But if my mama wasn't down there to visit them, I went over there. Like,
yeah,
they only saw me while mama came in town. Other than that, you wouldn't even know that I was at ECO even in Greenville. Like, yeah, I wouldn't go there to eat. I would call if I needed anything.
yeah,
Not saying they wouldn't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think they would. But mom was like, if you need something, call me.
yeah,
Or figure it out.
yeah.
Don't bother them.
That was the best thing for me in life though. A part of me was frustrated because I didn't really want to do college, but being put in situations where I had to figure it out. I still feel like sticking to that. Figuring it out is what
Yeah,
we do.
we have to.
We have to do. Yeah, I mean, because you get to the point where you tired of figuring it out or trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
What do? Do you give up? You know what I'm saying?
But that's where the game comes in. Like, am I giving up or am I trying to go through and stick it out?
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? And I know when it comes down to the idea of trying to figure out how to love or like really get that feeling of love, you figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I think that I want to say I felt real love.
I
You was about to ask that?
Like, did you ever feel like you was really?
I think I felt real love before, but I don't know if I reciprocated it the way that I should have because I didn't know how to.
I think because I was in this bubble of a fairy tale, I thought I was loved, but I don't think I really was loved.
I mean, I say that with a grain of salt because I almost feel like too, the women that I dealt with just was like almost tried to control me.
Was it?
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just looking back on it. You know what I'm saying? Like in those moments, I think that things were great, but also too, I'm more man enough to say too, because I didn't reciprocate the love that they probably needed. I didn't give them something to look up to actually listen when I just presented something. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times when I present something, it was always pushback of doing it their way, which could be perceived as control on from my
Both y'all
behalf.
wanted to be right. And
Yeah.
something
Oh
happened
my
first.
God. Oh my God. That was my shit. I used to no. I'm right. I know what I'm talking about. So now I tell anybody this show, being right is overrated. It's overrated in every single aspect. You know what I'm saying? I can't even remember the person who said it, but they said it was somebody. I seen it on the internet the other day. He was like, matter of fact, Iman Shepherd said, bro, I don't even want to be right when it come to my wife. I want my wife to be happy.
That's it.
Now, I don't know if I've got to that level of maturity.
You will.
Shit, I got to get a wife first.
But that's what I'm saying. Before you can get to that stage of a wife.
Yeah, I mean,
Except you gonna practice.
but nah, I'm already on this whole wave now where, I mean, look, I don't argue. That's progress for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about being right. That's progress for me. You know what I'm saying?
I do think that being right is definitely overrated. I feel like because you're right, it's like, okay, you're right. Now what? What's that? Do you feel better?
Yeah.
Or does it make the issue change how
Yeah,
I feel?
it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Because you're right. If you're right all the time and I'm constantly submitting to your will, where are we growing at? You know what I'm
got no room
saying?
for improvement. You already right.
You right about
But
everything.
are you trying to learn stuff? You know everything.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, yo, when I tell you, you know, going through the things that I've been through, as frustrating as it has been, man, it has taught me a lot. It's definitely taught me a lot, you know what I'm saying? And I think at the end of the day, I'm gonna be a better person for it, you know what I'm saying? And it's like my behaviors and how I move throughout this thing and how I deal with people, I think are gonna be better, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I feel like, you know, this third time around with my baby girl Chance is gonna be different. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's that reflection of now that you're in a spot because you want to. I feel like once you want to give that type of love to, then it's a natural like. Because I want to give love, I know how I want love to be. It's easy for you to communicate what you need in order to get that.
Yeah, but it's also easier for me to know when to not communicate certain shit.
That just comes from your maturity. That just comes from your life situations.
Yeah, I mean, but anyhow, yo, again, like, subscribe, comment, Kazi,
All that.
Whiteside.
Hey.
You are tuned into another episode of Strategic Behaviors. You dig? And we'll see you next time, man. Salute.